Good morning. This is Wealth Principle number 33. We have been on this journey, the 52 weeks to wealth, for quite a few months now. We're going through it, working hard, learning, being diligent with these wealth principles. And of the 52 weeks, each one is important. Each week stacks on the week before, but we have passed the middle of our program. We're now into the tweaking, the high-end strategies. These are super important if you want to get to the next level. One of the reasons Wealth Principle 33 is so important is because it almost should have been Wealth Principle 1, except if I didn't say start thinking about $1 million, think about $1 million, it would have been really hard to start a business. Does that make sense? All of the previously wealth principles stack up to this one. Wealth Principle 33 is start your business, and grab your pencil, hold on, write this down. Start your business to sell your business and get rich. I understand that for most people who start a business or are thinking about starting a business, they're thinking about income. Hands to the camera if you were ever a victim of that thought. At some point, you just thought, hey, I could get paid more if I start my own business. That's okay. You're in the same delusion, or we're in the same delusion as everybody else, because most of the world is just looking for a job. Most business owners are just tired of working for other people. Anybody know what that's like? Being tired of making other people rich, so you want to make yourself rich? Well, the secret that they didn't tell you is that the whole point in starting their businesses was to sell their businesses. That's why the richest people on the planet do not own very much of their own business. Now, when I talk about the richest people on the planet, I am talking about Jeff Bezos. I'm talking about Warren Buffett. I'm talking about Microsoft, Amazon. Think of FANG, right? Just go through FANG, right? Facebook, Netflix. It's from building a business and then selling the business. Does everybody know what putting a business online does when you go public with a company? It's selling the company. You're selling shares of a company to other people because they believe that the company you've built is valuable. They believe that there's value in your company and they want a piece of it. Who here owns stocks in something? You've helped somebody retire. You're still doing it. Isn't that amazing? You decided that you wanted to get out of the making other people rich, and you jumped right into investing in other people's businesses to make yourself get rich. A little shift, a little change. What if you could build a business that would make other people rich, or at least have the potential to, and bring them into it to sell a piece of your business to them to retire? It's still, I know this is a complex conversation, and it's going to get a little crazier, but when you start this way, it's going to make your whole life better. Let me start with a story. First business I ever built that was successful and successfully sold, did its job. I was getting into real estate investing. I bought a 3-family property. Write this down. My investment properties are a business. Multifamily investments. You're buying a business, right? You're not buying a hobby. It's not a hobby. You could chop wood. That's a hobby, right? You could craft wood. You could buy a house, a single family, live in it and fix it up as a hobby. But when you start investing in real estate, it's a business. The moment you buy a piece of property, there's an attorney involved, right? They don't, at Michael's, at arts and crafts stores, they don't have attorneys to do the transactions. Does that make sense? It's a freaking business you're buying. For our favorite attorney, our holistic attorney, give Mike Shine a round of applause. Ironically, Michael's is also a arts and crafts store, and and our vegan holistic attorney is also named Michael. So
I work there on Saturdays.
I can see you doing it too.
Hi, do you need a basket? No, sorry.
So Mike, do you have the book of the week? I'm not going to have you bring it up yet.
Yes, I do. Yes,
Excellent. Excellent. Very good. So in a little bit, we're going to have you have that conversation. Have you read the book of the week?
I'm in the middle of it. I'm like a week behind. I just finished The Thin Green Line. So
Good, good. That's another good book. So we maybe we'll talk about that one a little bit because most of them are business owners as well.
yeah, it's
All
cool.
right.
It sounds like you should be talking about the E-Myth this week.
It's E-Myth comes up. I think E-Myth is either earlier in the year or it's coming up again.
Yeah, I'm just saying for this subject matter.
Probably will. Give Mike Shine a round of applause. He is the master of the books. He definitely helped me put the 52 wealth principles with the books that coordinate with them. And at the end, we found 6 redundancies in my wealth principles. So we tweaked and improved based on the books that we wanted to include. So the wealth principles are based on powerful books and they're based on powerful principles. Is that cool? Does that make sense? There was something subconscious about the books that we couldn't quite nail down the wealth principles until we got to the end of this and we said, man, like I know we've included a lot of books, but I feel like that one is so important. Like there was the 4 agreements. There were certain books at the end we just were like, this has to go in. There's something about this book. There's a principle here that is more important than, and we pulled out the redundancies. Wealth principles seemed like they were just duplicated or close enough to duplicate, and Mike gave me a big hand with that. So give Mike a round of applause.
I love books.
I've read over 300 books, and Mike was the first to take up the 52-week challenge, the first to say, you know what, I'm going to start reading a book a week. And since he's been doing that, he's seen some massive changes. Since he's been doing that, I've seen massive changes in myself because now he's throwing a ton of books at me, and it's no longer 1 book a week. It's now 1.5, 2, sometimes 3 in a week, and it's getting intense. It's getting very intense. So anyway, back to the wealth principle. Start your business to sell your business and get rich. Most people come into the business thinking, I'm here to make income, massive income, massive income, massive income. And a lot of what we talk about in the mentorship all the time is double your income, double your net worth. And one of the parts that I think is so important that's missed when people jump into the mentorship and they're a little bit shocked when we have this conversation is that your business is a part of your net worth, right? It does bring in income, it does generate income, and the more it generates, the more net worth it has. But when we talk about net worth, I typically start with what do you do for a living? Because I'm looking to see if you have a business. Does that make sense? So a lot of my net worth is held in real estate. One of my favorite businesses. It's something that holds its value and generates income. When you get into commercial property, they no longer even look at comps. They're just looking at what does your business generate? What is the profit and loss? What is your rent roll? What are your expenses? Does that make sense? Anybody heard rent roll and expenses in real estate? It's just profit and loss. They just want to know, what do you make? What are you looking to make this year? Do you have any signed leases? Which in business terms is, do you have proven guaranteed revenue? Do you have contracts signed with people who are going to pay you for your product? And this making sense, you can see how real estate is connected to a business. Excellent. So let's talk about business itself. You can build a brokerage. You can build a real estate business. You could build a lending business. You can build a training company, like we have a training company here, a property management business, insurance business. There are so many businesses that are related to real estate. Then you can build a business outside of real estate. We got Roger Andrews, who owns a graphic design company outside of real estate. We have, where is Melanie? Melanie owns 2 subways, completely unrelated to real estate, although they do take up real estate and they generate a lot of income for her real estate. We have Mike Shine, attorney, a lot of schooling to get that career, but he nailed it. And there's so many other entrepreneurs. I know Kim has like 10 businesses. Give Kim a round of applause. She's an entrepreneur. And so sometimes we get caught up in this, okay, make money, make money. Sometimes we're caught up in the, hey, just make the business not lose money. There's fluctuations. Entrepreneurs, business owners know about those fluctuations of, hey, just keep the money flowing at some point, especially in COVID. And I think it was very important during COVID, especially this year, to show a profit. So for any business who thought, the market's affecting me and it's taking me out of the game or it's slowing me down, this year you still have 3 more months to get your profit up. You still have 3 more months to go in, increase the one thing that's the most important part of a business, which is your tax returns. This is how your business is evaluated. When we evaluate a business, the first thing I ask, well, can I have your last 2 years of tax returns? That's what I want to know. What did you claim? Because because we don't claim what we don't have to claim. Fair hands to the camera. If you don't have to claim it, you don't. We're very, very honest with the government. Nobody's like, hey, don't put that expense on the government there. Like, don't show them that expense. Your whole point when you sit with the accountant is to make sure that you're putting every single expense on there. You're showing as little taxable income as possible. So in real estate, we're showing our depreciation. We're showing all of our expenses on renovations and utilities. We put it all on. We're like, hey, we paid it. Put it in there. We go down to the interest on our loans, right? Anybody show interest on your loans to the mortgage for anything other than your business or real estate? Like, think you can get away with credit card interest? Right? We understand how the government works. But in real estate, for borrowing money, we get all of these deductions. It's great to own a business. It's very easy to get caught up in the income. Very easy to get caught up in the monthly. How much is it generating? How much is it generating? But if you lose sight of the real point, you lose your retirement strategy. You got to start your business with a plan to get out of your business. Write this down. I start my business with a plan to sell my business, to get out of my business. Otherwise, you just built yourself a job. Does that make sense? If you got to stay in your business for it to keep running, you have not replaced your job with a retirement plan. You replaced your job with a job. Who knows they've done that right now and maybe want to build a little plan to get out? Excellent. You're in the right place. And it's okay. Look, we've all done it. I'm only teaching this lesson because I've done it multiple times. You know, I've built the businesses. I thought I was doing great. We're making 10 grand this month. Perfect. We're making 15 grand. This company's making dude, I don't care what the company's making. If it's making 5 grand or $500 a month, I'm still in love with the company. Does that make sense? It's okay. It doesn't matter what the dollar amount is. Like, your company making $50,000 or $5,000, I'm going to get the same excited. That same, oh shit, somebody else is making money and they're not having to do work. Progress. Now, if you tell me you're making $500 and you're putting 40 hours a week into it, we're going to have a conversation. We're going to have a conversation about scale. It's time to make a little more. It's time to do a little bit more. It's possible. Some businesses, it's not. That's where Wealth Principle 2 comes in, which is start a business that can make $1 million. Do not start a business unless you know it can make $1 million. Does that make sense? If you haven't figured that Wealth Principle out, go back, watch the video. It's super, super important to not start a $70,000 business that caps at $70,000, because year two, it might be impressive year one. All right, who'd be happy year one, start a business, bam, it's making 70K. Yes, it's an okay start, right? I personally can't. Year one has to make 100. If it doesn't make 100, I'm like, fuck year two. I'm not even going to go into year two. If I can't figure it out this fast enough to make 100,000, I'm not doing this. And the goal is always $250,000. I think in quarter millions. Wrote the book, Broke to $250,000. If you're new and you don't know, I wrote the book, Broke to $250,000. It was my journey, which started in 2015, ended in 2017, where I was just looking to make my first $250,000. I was just looking to retire. And I was 30 years old when I started writing the book, and I had retired. And it wasn't until 2 years later I became a millionaire that I finally started finishing the book. And it wasn't until I was a multimillionaire that I actually released it last year in August. And one of the reasons was I hadn't built the businesses the right way. One of the reasons was I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid of what people were going to say. You know, hey, well, you just made $250,000, no big deal. And here's the thing. I do now hear that. The irony is I do now hang out with people who laugh at $250,000. Is it okay if other people judge your goals as if, you know, $250,000 is no big deal? Just means you're in the right room. Let me tell you. When people are judging $250,000, I'm thinking, wow, you must be doing okay yourself. Let's hang out. Let's talk. And when people say, man, I could go for $250,000 right now. If you know you could go for $250,000 right now, hand to the camera, yes? You wouldn't judge it? Another one be fine with you? then I know I'm in the right room as well, because that's a room where it's time to serve. So write this down. If you are the smartest person in the room or the highest net worth person in the room, it's time to serve. If you are one of, or if there is a higher net worth person in the room, it's time to learn. And it may also be time to serve, but in a different way. Does that make sense? One of our previous wealth principles was get yourself a mentor, how to find a mentor. And that's been what has made my life more successful. Like I said, last night, I was the brokest guy in the room at a $2.4 million net worth and a stupid amount of income coming in. I think we're somewhere around 400,000 for the year so far. It might be a $500,000. Not looking forward to taxes this year. And the irony is my mentor did his taxes yesterday, and he told me, he's like, man, I cannot believe how much I owe. He's like, it's COVID, but I owe more this year than I've ever owed. And he's laughing. He said, it's a 10% effective rate, but man, he's like, I owe more in taxes than most people earn in a year. How crazy is that? Good problems. Good problems. I remember the first time I made $400,000 in a year, I owed more in taxes. $57,000 I owed in taxes. I had to give back. Who here still gets a check at the end of the year? They get money back? Yes, from the government. I had to give them $57,000. They deemed it that I had earned enough to pay them, to give into the system a little more. And if you haven't saved it, stressful, absolutely frustrating. If you did like I did and you had it in a flip, well, it was okay because eventually the flip sold and you made your money and you got to roll it back and pay Uncle Sam. With the funny little piece that flip earned money as well, and so a little chunk of that got to go to next year's taxes. Give them a round of applause for figuring out how to get a little more money out of us. You want to model a business, man? Model the government, right? Model the IRS. We just want a little bit of everything you make. Just a little bit of everything you make for life. So net worth. Net worth is what we track. And if you don't start your business the right way, claiming taxes, paying Uncle Sam, and I know it can be frustrating. I get it. But paying Uncle Sam is how your business is evaluated. And typical restaurant business, who here owns a restaurant? I was thinking about owning a restaurant, would love to own a restaurant. Excellent. Typical restaurant business is valued around 2.75%. Or you could average it to 3, but it's typically a little under. 3 years, a little under 3 years of revenue that you're showing on the books. If you want to sell your business, you got to show 3 years consistent revenue or growth. And then, 2 years, I'm sorry. It's 2 years, but then you multiply it by 3. So say your business is grossing $100,000 a year. Not grossing, netting $100,000 a year. This is NOI, end of the road. At the end of the year, this is what you put on your taxes. And next year, you put on another $100,000. You've consistently proven that this business makes $100,000 without you as an employee. This is business by itself with full expenses, and you're paying the government on that tax. Your business is worth $300,000 because you hit it by that 3 times rule, or it would be worth $275,000 because it's the 2.575 multiplier. You multiply it by the amount of years. There are other businesses that are a little bit more. So there are some businesses that are 5 years. There's some that are 7 years. It depends on the industry. Sales typically is right there with a restaurant, that 2-3 year mark. There are some businesses that are a little bigger. Businesses that have assets, construction companies tend to be a little bit of a bigger price. You can get 5 years out of those. So it's really important to understand your industry and what level of income you have to make in order to sell that business at some point. Is this making sense? Valuable information, something you may have never heard before? Excellent. So go online today, write this down. This is your homework. And you don't have to do the homework, but man, if you got a business or you're starting a business, it'd be really good to know how much you could sell that business for. Write down, I will seek out to find the year sale multiplier for my industry. the business value multiplier for my industry. I don't want you doing it right now because this next exercise is really important. It's really, really important, and I want you to stay engaged. This is homework because it's also really important. Every week, every wealth principle, we go into our business. We evaluate everything we have in our lives. This is why they're weekly instead of me hitting you with all 52. If you want all 52, go to GoalTerminal.com, go over to the blog section, and you can go to the 52 weeks of wealth. You can see all 52 wealth principles. The reason we go each week is because each wealth principle needs to be addressed in your business the way it is right now. Next year, your business should be bigger.
Going, honey? Do you need me to walk her over?
Darina, can you mute the line that's running right there? Thank you. Each week, we go back and we review one wealth principle so that you can tackle it in your business so that your business can move forward to the next level. Can you understand how even next year, this wealth principle is going to be important to review? Where your company's gotten, what its worth is, because 3 months before the end of the year, you want to be tackling what am I claiming this year to make sure that my business is in line to sell if I decide to sell. Every year, you never know. Like business owners, how many times have you wanted to sell the business and just walk away? Hands to the camera. A lot of times, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I'm telling you, it is an often thought that, man, I'm done. I'm out. I never want to do this again. And typically the business owners who have sold said that it was one of those moments they just said, I'm done. And then the next day that thing was on the market and it was gone. They decided to sell it. They called up somebody who had been a competitor. They called up all their buddies who were in the business with them, and then they sold the business that day. You want to be in a position to get the maximum dollar out of it. That makes sense? Hands to the camera if you want to make the most when you sell your business. Excellent. You're like me. You want a little bit more. And so the valuation of your business starts with how much income you're taking in, and how much you're spending. One of the easiest ways to increase the value of your business is cut your expenses. One of the other easy ways to increase your income is get more clients. Another way to get more income is charge a little more for your services, charge what you're worth, or add a more valuable product. So we're going to do a little exercise, then we're going to talk about the book of the week. So grab a pen and paper if you don't already have one. And for this exercise, I want you to write down the industry that your business is. It doesn't have to be the one you have today. It could be the future business. Write down the business, the industry that you're in. And if there's a niche within that industry, so say it's real estate and your niche is appraisals, or it's being an agent or a mortgage broker or insurance agent or a contractor or plumber or electrician, any one of those, write it down. And then on the side of it, I want you to write, can this business become worth $1 million? Because sometimes many millionaires, and you've probably heard of somebody who became a millionaire from the sale of a business. Sometimes millionaires are made from just selling a business. Does that make sense? Yes. So even though I am the real estate mentor and I talk about real estate all the time, some easy ways to get to that $1 million is just improve the business, prepare it for sale. One way to buy a lot of real estate is to sell a business. And it is possible. Ron and I had a conversation a few years back, and before we started this training company, and we said, what's an easy way to make $1 million in a year? What is an easy way to make $1 million in a year? And one of the strategies we came up with is, well, we could just kick ass for 2 years and build a company that makes $250,000 in net revenue 2 years in a row. And that thing would be worth $1 million. Or, if you're a real estate agent, it'd be worth, you'd have to make $300,000 a year, $330,000 a year to get that $1 million business that you could sell. And then we thought, well, why don't we just buy a $1 million business buy a $3 million business for $2 million, or value add, improve it, right? Get the business up and running a little bit better. And then because we'd done that in real estate, we looked over and we said, we've done this in real estate. We've bought real estate that was worth $3 million, bought it for $1 million. We did that last year. Is this making sense? In real estate, you make your money on the purchase. It's all about the acquisition. It's all about the acquisition. The day we closed on those condos, instant net worth increase. Does that make sense? How do you track net worth anyway, right? You track net worth by, I've got an asset and this is how much I owe on it. This is what it's worth. This is what I owe. And then in the middle is your net worth. Who here's bought real estate before? Who here knew they got a good deal on it? Bragged about it to all your friends. Yes? And tracked your Zillow and said, wow, look, it's worth this today. Wow, look, it's worth this today. So the neighbor sold their house for that much. Now it's worth this. And I only owe this. Look, I'm paying it down. I'm paying it down. I'm paying it down. I'm owing less and less and less. Well, you've done the same thing. It's just for some reason, there's a disconnect. Most people don't think about their net worth all the time. They don't think about that piece of real estate as a business. And so when you're looking to build your net worth, dude, it's day one. Day one, you close, business bought, equity positions in there. When you're purchasing businesses, it's very similar. It's very similar, except it's a little bit of a longer process. Can you, and write this down, business owners, can you increase the income for this year, decreasing your expenses? Can you decrease your expenses or increase your gross revenue, or increase your net revenue, net return on investment this year, and then get a great pro forma ready for next year? Can you figure out a way to convince the bank that next year you're going to produce more income? Write this down. Can I produce more income next year in this business and write a great pro forma, great profit and loss, potential profit and loss?
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead, Terry.
One word in the beginning of that sentence, and how. How can I add?
That comes later. That comes later. Just, it's not necessarily about you. It's just, can it be done? Can it be done? And then how can you do it? But don't worry about the how so much as find somebody else who's doing it, and then you can reverse engineer what they're doing. And how Terry's comment is a powerful statement. How can I? How can I? How can I? But it's important to motivate yourself with, is it possible, right? Find somebody who's done it. Find somebody who's sold a business. Find somebody, and then the how becomes much easier. It becomes much easier to answer. And before we open it up to the coaches and we go a little deeper into this, I'd like to have Mike Shine present the book of the week. Mike, what is Wealth Principle 33's book of the week?
Thank you, Walter. This week's book is Robert Kiyosaki's Retire Young, Retire Rich, which is part of Robert Kiyosaki's books. The most famous is, of course, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he just follows along. And I think I have a really old copy because it shows Robert and his wife, Kim, on the back. I don't know if you can see them riding horses, but it looks like it's like 1970.
It is an old copy. I have that same copy.
Yeah.
And I've had it for like over a dozen years.
Yeah, so as I admitted, I'm only partially way through it, but I have learned that it's about getting assets, as just like Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's not about getting a job, a W-2. It's about getting things like businesses, stocks, or real estate. So amazing book, and I know, Walter, you've read it and you tout this one highly, so I'll pass it over to you. But yeah, all the Rich Dad books are amazing, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Give Mike Shine a round of applause. One of the reasons Mike and I get along so well is because we're on a similar mission. We want to build 100 millionaires. We want to get everybody to the next level. And so books are a big part of that. We use our books to educate, to train. These are books that other people have written, and our ego is not big enough where we have to write all the books, right? I wrote one, I'm writing another one. But man, you've got to go and get involved in educating yourself so that you can make more money and serve your community and help your family. Money does not make you bad. Money literally just gives you options. It allows you to be more of what you are, what you want to be. Well, Robert Kiyosaki says in this book, and I love the title, Retire Young and Retire Rich. Who here wants to retire young and retire rich? Would it be a good enough goal to go after? Yes. Who? Okay, Sharon, I see what you're saying, right? You're like, yes. Who just wants to retire rich? Yes? Excellent, excellent. So it's relative.
Eustace and I are like, we're not young. So.
All right, Mike, that's a mindset, right? And I know Sharon was making the same comment. That is a mindset. Look, you're young.
Yeah, plan to live to 150, so I guess I am young. So there you go.
So that's another thing we have in common. Me and Mike plan to live to 150 because I met a guy and he said, I asked him the secret to his old age, right? His perfect health, his old age. He's 85, running up and down stairs, showing his property to me. And he told me, well, I guess it's because I've always told people that I was going to live to be 100. And that's kept me going. I just couldn't retire early. I had to keep going. And I thought, if that's the secret, this is the oldest guy I know who's still in great shape, I'll just follow that with a little more, right? Go a little beyond his 100 and go for the 150. And it's worked out so well as far as just mindset. Like I never think about age. I just keep running. And I know it's easy to say at 34 years old, but trust me, you'll see me doing this. I mean, we may be in holograms at the time, but you'll see me doing this at 100 years old, still running, still same energy, still pushing the mission. Now, the book, Retire Young or Retire Rich, talks about leverage. He talks about leverage, and he has a statement that I want you to write down that is so important. I wrote it on my whiteboard. As soon as I read it, I wrote this on my whiteboard, and it has changed the way I look at life, the way my business runs. He said, talking about his retirement, he's talking about his growth and his moving through life. This is what he says. He says, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'll probably still be building businesses and buying real estate. Number one, building businesses. Number two, buying real estate. And I've had this conversation with other millionaires, with some of the richest guys I know. I've had this conversation with my mentor, and it comes up in various different ways. It's not always direct. It's not always clear, but it always comes back to this. The people who are most successful in real estate have a fire hose of a business on the sidelines. They have a business that's just funneling money in that allows them to reinvest with confidence. In fact, Ron and I had a conversation yesterday about our business, and we do this every week. Every week, he and I sit down and we talk about the business. We talk about our goals. We talk about the company, where we're going, how it's going, how the rental portfolio is doing, how each one of our multiple businesses is operating. And we only have 3. Even though there are 7 streams of income, there's only 3 businesses. We got the brokerage, the training company, and the properties, because we got rid of our property management company. It was a business that didn't serve us at the time. And our conversation was, how do we get to the next level? How do we get to the next level? How do we do it faster? How do we do it more stable and keep and maintain this fun life that we live, this enjoyment that we live? How do we do it? And it came to, it may not be the way we've done it in the past. It may not be the way we've done in the past, which has been acquire property, value add, and refinance. The BRRRR strategy: buy, renovate, refinance, rent, refinance, repeat. It may not be what we've always done. And that's because we've gotten to a size where the projects would be a little different. We'd have to change and adjust, which we can do. We can still do it the way we do it. But our portfolio isn't designed for it. And so we have to reevaluate our portfolio by selling a piece of the business. Taking a step back to launch forward, we were just approved for a $3 million credit line. So that $3 million credit line is probably all the down payment we need to buy a $12 million portfolio. Does that make sense? This make the math is simple? Excellent. So what we were looking at is shifting into larger buildings that run a little differently from the businesses we've bought in the past. And in the past, we've bought 3 families, 5 families, 6 families, 10 units, condos. And in the future, we're probably looking at 50 unit complexes. In that, 50 units, 100 unit complexes, because that's what's worth $12 million. Does that make sense? So it's not the same game we've played. Similar, a lot of similarities, but it works a little differently. And in order to get there, one of the strategies we're looking at is sell a business to roll into this new business. Let me tell you, I would much rather run one complex of 100 units than the 8 buildings we have at 60 units. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. It's simplifying the business a little bit. So build a business, buy real estate. Build a business, buy real estate. The reason we built the training company, this business brings us all of the deals that we're looking for. It brings us all the deals we're looking for. Who here would like an infinite amount of deals? All the deal flow you can handle without spending any money on marketing. Yes? What if I added getting paid for marketing? Your marketing pays you to do more marketing. That's a cool one, huh? So before we jump into questions and we have this little dialogue, I want an opportunity to sell the mentorship program. If you don't like sales, log off now. And let me tell you before you log off, if you don't like sales, it's probably stopping your income from increasing, because the only way to make more money is to sell somebody something. And if there's something inside you that makes you uncomfortable around being sold or the thought of selling, it could be that something's wired wrong. And that's okay to admit. But I promise you, doctors are selling, nurses are selling, the people who are helping and making the community better are selling something. Your plumber's selling you something, right? If your roof is leaking, your roofer is selling you something. The key to good sales is sell something valuable. Sell something that you know somebody wants. If you sell a product right now and you're in a business that you know doesn't serve people, you're in a business that doesn't add value to people's lives, dude, just get out of the fucking business. Change your business. You don't have to stay there. And choose a product that you know is going to make people's lives better. Choose a product that will improve your community, improve the lives of the people around you, and sell that. And if you can't find that product, create the product. If there's something you wish you could be sold, create that product. That's what we did with the mentorship program. And I'm going to sell it unabashedly for about 30 seconds. It's very expensive. It's $1,000. It's a one-time payment of $1,000. It's 8 weeks. 8 weeks of hanging out with our coaches, our celebrity coaches, half of which who have written books, the other half are writing books. And we're going to teach you the habits to become a millionaire. It's 2 months. It's 8 weeks. We're going to teach you the habits of becoming a millionaire. We meet once a week. We have a powerful community who stays together no matter what, even after the mentorship. There is a mastermind you can join. That also costs money. It's very expensive. It's cheap in the realm of masterminds, but it is $2,500 for the year. Yeah, sorry. $25,000. The only thing that's $25,000 right now is my coaching, my one-on-one coaching, which I just don't sell. I put it so high because my time is valuable and I just want to spend more time doing my own thing. But if somebody were to say, hey, $25,000 I want your coaching, yes, I would do it, right? But somebody have to be that serious for me to put my life back into that one-on-one arena. So the mentorship, it's something that I enjoy doing. I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires. That's my mission. That's the reason we charge. If I was just looking to talk and train and be like, hey, look at me, words, I would make it free, because it's not about moving people forward. The reason we charge is to move you forward, because if you've put money down on yourself and you've bet on yourself and said, hey, look, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my habits. I'm going to do something better. I'm going to learn how to build a business to sell the business and get rich. I'm going after the $1 million goal, not just trying to make 100,000 this year, which, by the way, that is part of the process. You do got to make 100,000 at some point. If you haven't made 100,000 yet, then the mentorship is probably for you, because you got to make that first 100,000. Does that make sense? If you have made 100,000, but you haven't figured out how to make $250,000, then the mentorship is probably for you, because that's the next phase to becoming a millionaire, make it a lot easier. If you haven't made $1 million, then the mentorship is for you. because that's the whole mission, is to build millionaires. The idea is get people capable of helping more people, getting you to the point where you could teach somebody else how to do this, getting you to the point where you at least understand it for yourself and you can pass it on to your kids, getting to the point where maybe you can help a sibling or a family member, or maybe just take care of your parents. I know Saeed is on here, Ikram's on here. Saeed's mission is to become a millionaire so he can take care of his family in the long term. That's, you don't need much more than that to get you motivated to make a million. Does that make sense? We agree? Doesn't take much more. Excellent. So it's gualtermurillo.com/mentor. Oh, there you go. Dorina put it in the chat. If you're interested, I'm interested in helping. If you're not interested, I don't mind. I really don't mind. What's nice about our program is we have the best people in it because they've bet on themselves. They've decided that they're worthy of becoming a millionaire. They've decided that they're going to put in the effort, and man, it is effort. Let me tell you, if you're not comfortable with being uncomfortable, it can be a lot of work. It can be very scary, right? Mentorship members, everybody who's in the program, been through the program, graduates, hands to the camera. Can it be a little scary changing everything about your life? Coaches, hands to the camera. Have you seen some massive results from everybody in the mentorship program? Seeing them do some crazy things, getting outside of their comfort zone. So everybody, coaches and future millionaires, hands to the camera if you know you're going to become a millionaire. Hands to the camera if you see yourself putting the effort in, see the results happening. Excellent. Give yourself a round of applause. The mentorship, the $1,000 is designed as a way to keep unserious people out of the program and save me from wasting my time on unserious people. This is how you know you're an unserious person. I'm going to give you a list. And this is important if you're a salesperson or you're in business, you're looking to build a business, you wrote down a business or an industry. This is an important lesson for you. Unserious people will not pay for your product. Write that down. People who are not serious think that your product is overpriced. People who do not believe that the product is valuable to them because they will not use it think that your product is overpriced. Write these down. These are key principles in sales and owning a business. People who say, I don't want to become whatever your product provides. I don't want to become a millionaire. I don't want to get rich. If they say that, they're not ready for your product. Does that make sense? At that point, move on. Sales over. No point in sticking with somebody who doesn't want what you sell. Does that make sense? Do you know how many people only 1% of the population are as interested as you right now? I've said millionaire like 10 times. That usually is enough to turn people off, right? And I know for each one of you, you're like, what do you mean? Like, doesn't everybody want to be rich? Doesn't everybody want more money? No. The answer is no. I've been in other rooms. I've been in the wrong rooms before. And in the wrong room, when I say, who wants to be a millionaire? And no hand goes up, I'm like, fuck. Who wants to just quit their job? Go back to that one. Who wants to just not have to work anymore? And they all their hands go up, right? Well, I don't know how you plan on doing it, but $1 million would probably make that happen. Hands to the camera if you think $1 million can make that happen. All right. I guess they just haven't figured that part out. They think that somehow you can retire with less than $1 million to do the work of $1 million. It's an insane process. So you qualify your clients. Your clients don't qualify you. You qualify your clients. Now, I do give a lot of value, and I believe that in sales you must. You must teach and discuss what you're selling. Give a little bit away. If you're a good salesperson, you're probably teaching people the process of doing what they want to do before they go and pay for your product or your services. Anybody ever been to Best Buy and they explain how your new phone works and you still don't understand? but you go and they're like, hey, by the way, this is how it works. This is what you can expect. And then like they show you the big screen, the small screen. They show you the phone with the buttons still, or the phone with no buttons. And you're like, no, go back to the buttons. And they're selling you on options. They're selling what you could have, what you could be. And if you buy something at the end of that, it's because you like the fucking product. You want the result. And if you don't buy it, it's because it just wasn't right for you. It wasn't what you were looking to create. Does that make sense? Excellent. So when you're in a sales position, you feel like you're selling, you feel like your product isn't good enough, change your product or buy your product. If you don't buy your product, you probably don't believe in it. A good salesperson owns what they sell. They buy what they sell. Look, I'm a great real estate agent because I own a lot of fucking property. I love real estate. I love cash flow. I love tenants. I love the problems. Every problem's an opportunity for me to serve my tenants better. Every single problem that's ever come up in my city with the building department, in my buildings with whether it be rain, electrical, water, whatever, a pipe burst, simple things. It's an opportunity for my property management company to go out there and serve better. For them to be like, damn, like, no, they responded quickly. For me as an owner, when a tenant texts me as an owner and I say, thank you for sharing. Have you notified the property management company? And they say no, I say, please notify them. And if you have any issues and they don't respond quickly, you let me know, because I'm very proud of their response time, very proud of what they do. But if they don't respond the way they're supposed to, you let me know. It's an opportunity to build one more connection, one more reason for tenants to pay you during COVID-19. Does that make sense? Everything is an opportunity. Every sale is an opportunity. Even in order to get to the 100 millionaires, in order for me to hit my goal of building 100 millionaires, I got to sell the concept of getting rich. Most people, I couldn't get to this room. Most people, I've got 2,200 people in our registration. There's 57 on the call. Does that make sense? 2,250 people get a notification saying, hey, by the way, we're going to talk about getting rich this week. Got to talk about becoming millionaires this week. And less than 10% show up. Makes you different, makes you special. It makes you somebody who wants a little more, right? If only 5% are showing up. And did you know, by the way, that becoming a millionaire makes you the 5%? Yeah. 1% is $12 million. I mean, write that fucking goal down, somebody, please. Right? Just write it down. I want to be in the 1%. Write it down. Being a millionaire, that puts you in the 5%. Do you know how humbling it is to be in the 5%? to be in the 5%, like thinking, and this is, I want you all to have the right goal when you get into this. I thought that $1 million made me the 1%. Really did. Wrote that shit down thinking I'm going to get a mill. I'm going to be the 1%. I'm going to prove it's possible. And then when I prove it's possible, I'm going to teach everybody how to do it. Well, apparently, it's 12% to be in the 1% net worth. Income, it's only $400,000. So yeah, I'm in the 1% on income. But dude, at the end of the day, income doesn't retire you. Net worth allows you to get passive income. Active income businesses, they're only truly passive when it's a true business that's profitable. And so that can take a little bit longer than, hey, just let me just go earn a bunch of money, right? So I've yet to earn passively that 400,000, that 500,000, that million. I haven't earned it passively. Is it okay that I'm not teaching you how to earn $1 million passively yet? I'm teaching you how to build a net worth of $1 million, build an income of maybe $250,000 passively. Is that okay? That I can only teach what I've done. Look, that's it. But I promise that if I've done more, or I've done something different, or it's in a different arena from what you've done, or it's just a little tweak, or maybe it's completely different, it's a whole new world, this program was built for you. We have spent months beta testing it. Me and the coaches, after our training sessions, we all sit around and we say, what can we do better? How can we serve more? How can we don't want to lower the price. I think that the $1,000 is a sweet spot. It's a good barrier to entry. But how can we serve more on our budget? How can we deliver more on what we know is the number to keep people engaged? People who've signed up, some of our good friends now, people in our mentorship, the future millionaires, they have said that this program is worth $10,000. That to me is such a compliment, because I know how hard the coaches work. I know how hard we've put, like all the time me and Ron have put into building this, into looking back at our first million and saying, what did we do? What did we do? What did we do? How do you get other people to do these things? How do you simplify it so it's fun? How do you make it so a whole community can get behind it and do it in a fun way? And we got Doug McGurk's over there, got the matrix behind him. It's like pulling people out of the matrix, right, Doug? right, Terry? It's like we're just flying around in our ship and be like, look, we're going to unplug them. They're not going to like what they see. The world has hypnotized you. The world has hypnotized you, and you've been thinking it's all real, and you don't have to work so hard, and you don't have to be broke. It's literally a choice in your programming. It's a slight decision. And the reason I call out the mindset coaches, because they're mindset coaches. It's what they do. They talk about mindset. They teach your mindset. And then there's different options, right? Mitch Jorsky has made his money in cryptocurrency. He's made his money in the stock market. And he still tells me he makes more money in real estate. Fair to say, Mitch?
100% fair to say.
And Mitch wrote the book, Scaredy Cat Guide to Real Estate Investing. So, if he's made this money in all these different strategies, and he still plays with them, still invests some of his net worth in those strategies. There's the book. Give Mitch a round of applause. Speaker view. Here we go. Nice. Mitch Jorsky. You see Kim's got the book. I got the book. It's upstairs.
Speaking of books, I'm actually going to throw out an ask for Galter.
You got it.
Rumor has it that if you have 50 reviews on your Amazon book, that Amazon starts promoting your book when they send out emails. I believe Galter's at 25, 26. So if you have bought and read Broke to a Quarter Million and not left a review, you got something on your to-do list. And shamelessly, I'll ask the same for my book if you've read or bought Investing in Rental Properties, Scaredy Cat Guide. But Galter gives us so much value that I feel like that's such a simple ask. So while we got everyone here, I couldn't help but do it.
Mitch, I appreciate you so much. I love this community. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. That means a lot to me. And it's true. The more books we sell, the more people we unlock. It's like throwing a little virus into the matrix and saying, hey, by the way, it's possible for you to get wealthy. It's possible for you to do better. And Mitch's book teaches you how to analyze deals, teaches you how to buy that first property, how to make sure that your investment is safe. The whole Scaredy Cat brand is all about being safe. It's about doing these things, doing scary things in a safe manner so that you don't get burned, right? Because Warren Buffett's rule, who knows Warren Buffett's rule number one? Mike Shine, you texted it to me the other day. Oh, actually, Mitch, it was you who texted me the other day.
I love that. Rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, see rule number one.
That's it. Give Mitch a round of applause. So the mentorship program it's literally just me doing what I want to do in my life, right? There's three forms of income. Write this down. 3 forms of income. The first one is survive money. Survive. Like you're just trying to keep the lights on. It's scary times. Everybody who's been there knows, gotta get out of survive mode. Then there's thrive money. Thrive money it's growth. Like you've got survive money taken care of. Thrive money tends to be bigger, longer, harder. I know that. Okay, that sounds very sexual, but thrive money gets you excited, right? It's fair to say thrive money is like, oh, that's good. And the next one is significance. Significant money allows you to contribute to the community. It makes you help the world, make the world a better place. And it's not always money that does that. Sometimes it's knowledge. Sometimes it's experience. So you've got survive money. Typically, when I meet most people, they're in survive mode. Most people in your life, in your world around you, when you go out to the grocery store, when you go to Walmart, when you're wearing that mask, if you're wearing a mask and they're wearing a mask, that's survive money. Does that make sense? Somebody in the room who's wearing a mask is in survive mode. That, fair to say. Think about it. If they're wearing a mask, okay. Thrive money only wears a mask out of respect for you, not because they have to, right? It's thrive money is wearing a mask out of respect. Significance is not wearing a fucking mask ever. They don't give a shit. They are not out at Walmart. Somebody else is out at Walmart for them. Does that make sense? I have not stepped foot in a Walmart in a long time because Darina figured out how online Amazon food delivery works. And since that discovery, I have not felt that it was required for me to walk into a Walmart anymore, or any store for that matter. The only time I do, I'm going to the cigar shop. and I want to buy a cigar, and I want to hang out with the other guys I know who are running significance money. Does that make sense? And we don't have to wear masks there. We just go outside. We buy outside, we hang out. You can choose to become a millionaire. It is just a choice followed by actions, followed by habits of actions. Our coaches are trained in habits. They're not trained in skill set, although each one of them has this very specialized skill set. We have Ryan McDermott, financial advisor. We have Dr. Terry Wager from Generator Coaching, who is experienced in doubling your net worth, doubling your income. We have Doug McGurk, who traveled with the great Tony Robbins for years and is a NLP practitioner, hypnotist, understands how to get into your psychology in a different way. We have Mitch Jorsky, who has made his money in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I'm sorry, not just Bitcoin and the blockchain. He's made his money in the blockchain and cryptocurrency, in stocks, in real estate. We have Ryan McDermott, who is a financial advisor who literally evaluates all of your portfolio, and he's a fiduciary. He's not, he doesn't get paid a percentage of what you make. You pay him a flat fee, he evaluates, and depending on how big your portfolio, what he's got to look at, the fee changes. And so, and it was hard for me because I hate financial advisors, like with a passion. You know, as somebody who's gotten wealthy, like they're like, oh, let me help you with your wealth. How much are you worth, please? Before you have that conversation with me, I just want to check your health. If we could just have that conversation. You know what I'm talking? Who here knows what I'm talking about? Financial advisors trying to tell you what to do with your money. It's funny. So, man, and I've made financial advisors rich, which is funny because I've given them a higher net worth through selling property for them than through what their portfolio of stocks has done for them, or their insurance program. What's that one they sell, Mike? The one that they're always trying to pitch to us?
I don't even
Term insurance. Look, I'm
whole,
sure
whole life term.
whole life term. There it is. Who's heard it? Who's had an insurance agent sit you down and say, you need this policy? It's going to make you lots of money. I get it. We've all had to suffer. But we found a coach who is a financial advisor who understands that not one size fits all. All products are different for each different person. And he's found ways for us to have money in the stock market, leverage it into real estate, and basically double the amount of capital that we have deployed because of simple little products that are out there that just nobody talks about. Is it smart to know the different products that are out there that nobody talks about to get you richer faster? EQRPs. Darina had a event. She runs the multifamily, the Massachusetts. Darina, what's the name of your event that you run? It's a tongue twister.
It's a bit long. It's Multifamily Investor Network of Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
It's about multifamilies actually all over the country, so not exactly in Massachusetts.
And Darina, what is your specialty? What do you do in our coaching program? Aside from just look pretty, I know that you're good at that.
I'm a secret weapon, right? I connect people, and I find the right match between what people need, what people want, and who is the right person to help them. I do real estate, and I'm an agent, and yeah, just serve the community the way I can by making the right connections.
Thank you, Darina. So Darina is humble. She is our secret weapon. So she is, so if they say your network is your net worth, Darina is who gives you your network. So if you're looking to buy real estate, hand to the camera, looking to buy some deals right now, yes, have a conversation with Darina or fill out her buyer questionnaire. She'll connect you with the team to go and make that happen. Who here knows you need a team? You can't do it by yourself. I mean, you could, but you'd be working your ass off. You need a team to go and do the work for you. Give yourselves a round of applause for paying attention. Look, I went through a sale. Who even noticed, right? Did you learn more from the sale? Learn more from me selling a mentorship program than anything else? When you sell a good product, it doesn't feel like a sale. And so if you're interested in taking your business to the next level, interested in moving your life to the next level, then put in the $1,000, bet on yourself. There is also a payment program available. Go to gualtermurillo.com/mentor and sign up for the mentorship so that we can help you get to the next level. If you're looking to be a millionaire, we're looking to help. At this point, I would like to have the coaches, Mitch, Terry, Doug, Darina, Michael. I'd like to get your opinion on this subject. This is a very important subject, and I know that each one of you owns a business. Terry, I've seen your hand up a couple of times. I know you love to add value, and I know all the other coaches know that you love to add value. Terry, what was your big takeaway from today's lesson?
Really, for me, when we're talking about businesses and making money in general, the idea of an exit strategy for whatever you're doing with the end goal in mind is super important. And the idea, I got into businesses and buying businesses and helping people buy businesses by accident. I had a client when I was a therapist. I had a client who was tired of his business. And so I just one day said, hey, why don't you buy it? And then we actually walked through the acquisition process and I saw how easy it is. And so I ended up moving into that field particularly to build businesses because it is one of the fastest ways to create cash flows, acquisition something that's already working. And so that turns into a way to fuel your next purchase of whatever you're doing. And so for me, really keeping that in mind, no matter what you're doing, what the end goal is, that's where you want to focus and that's where you move yourself.
Excellent. Give Terry a round of applause. Mitch Jorsky, what do you think about start your business to build your business? What is your tip of the day?
I mean, I kind of just want to point out one that might be obvious to us, but not to others. I mean, maybe anyone that's read the E-Myth, realizes this, but the problem that, and I'm going to say all of us have, is when we build a business, we're actually building a job for ourselves without realizing it most of the time. And that's what you want to pay mind to when you start a new business, is that framework of almost using that question, how can I sell this at one point? Even if you don't intend on selling it, but if you build it with that question in mind, you're not going to build yourself a job. You're not going to build yourself into a job and basically create your own prison. You're going to build a business that you can eventually step away from if you want to, because the bottom line is when you're starting a business, you love it. You may want to do it the rest of your life, but then, after it's built out, you might realize, you know what? I want to travel the world and I have the money to do it now. Crap, I still have a job, not a business. So just pay mind to that. And that's why, even the naming of it. So I don't know what Galter is going to do. I guess that's why it's the Alchemist University, even though his name's all over everything. But that's my point. I mean, obviously, I have the Scaredy Cat Guide brand. Well, that's a brand that I can essentially sell to somebody. Like, my name's not really on it outside of maybe seeing author of some books, but that's something that can be expanded. So just keep that in mind when you're starting new businesses to, make sure you're not building a job that you're going to be trapped in. I see a lot of people do it. I have a lot of friends that are in the medical field and they have practices that, they're stuck working 7 to 7 still because they're the ones, cracking backs and doing the chiropractic work, physical therapy. So just keep that in mind as you build a business.
Awesome. Give Mitch a round of applause. Mitch, how can people find out about your calculator, your real estate calculator?
I dropped it in chat. I'll drop the link again. So yeah, I have a property calculator online. Anyone can use it. I got it out there for people to analyze their deals. So just jump on scaredycatguide.com. I'll drop the link again. And then, as far as real estate goes, that's primarily what I coach in. But as Galter mentioned, I do also a lot of crypto. So if you're interested in that, I'm happy to help you out and talk about that as well.
Awesome. Give Mitch a round of applause. Also, I was just going to ask, but Terry already jumped on it. Terry's Calendly link is below. If you want to schedule one-on-one, learn more about what he does, generating coaching, helping businesses increase their value. One of the valuable reasons that I have coaches in here, they're experts in what they do. I'm very good at what I've done, and I'm also smart enough and aware enough to realize I want to surround myself with people who are experts in what they do. These are not just advisors for you. These are my advisors. These people I communicate with, I trust to have conversations with about my business, where I'm going, what I'm doing. Doug McGurk. What was, and you've helped people build business. You've been in this for a long time. You've been helping people build business as well. What was your takeaway from start your business to sell your business?
Well, the first thing is you like the reverb?
I love it.
So first is starting it with an exit strategy in mind. So important. Start your business already thinking about your exit strategy. And then the other is while you're doing it is to work yourself to a position where you're working on the business, not in the business. And that distinction is really valuable because then it's no longer necessarily just a job that we have to keep nurturing. We're working on it, and it changes our mindset on the decisions we're making. Is what role am I playing in it? Am I having to swing the hammer, or do I have the team in place so I'm working on it rather than in it, as you know, as an example?
I love that. And I noticed you're wearing the 100 Millionaire shirt.
Got to
So all the
support.
coaches, all the coaches have a shirt. All the millionaires get a shirt. These are currently exclusive to what we're doing. So it's only if you're one of our coaches. It's only if you've become a millionaire. You have one of these in your closet and you pull them out for a special time. So give Doug a round of applause. Phenomenal evaluation of this lesson. Darina, what would you say is a lesson that's really important to take away from this program?
Thanks so much, Walter. I really wish that Doug would be in the movie speaking that voices. Like, you do have that secret talent. Yeah, I actually thought what Doug said about working on the business, not in the business. And when we plan to start one, we're like, oh, I open an LLC, now I am in the business. And then we work. And then for me, the shift changed like probably a year later. I was like, why am I in this business? Like, I'm so stressed out. And I had to shift the mindset of leveraging versus doing everything myself. And I think if you're already in the business and you're stuck in it, think of how you can leverage, because there are other people who do better jobs that you're doing it. Like, find people that are smarter in certain things in that business. Bookkeeping, like Kim was saying, like, I finally hired a bookkeeper because that bookkeepers, that's their job. That's what they do. That's what they love to do. And then hire a plumber, hire someone to make those trips in Home Depot. Don't do it everything. And then now you will see a better, clear picture of really the exit strategy and really how you can get yourself out of the business, keep it grown, but just keeping an eye on it versus doing everything yourself. So leveraging that's where you start building the team and getting yourself out of it and eventually sell it for $1 million.
Awesome. Give Darina a round of applause. Darina and Doug, if you guys can put your links in the chat so anybody who's looking to get more information or learn more can reach out to you and have that conversation. So you said the word leverage, which is what that book's all about. The Retire Young, Retire Rich, book of the week is all about leveraging other people, leveraging systems, leveraging your dollar bills, leveraging your time, leveraging your energy, leveraging your sleep. Everything is leveraging money, loans, your real estate, your business. So it's a really, 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 really good book for you to read. If I go and put all foundational 5 books together in one, I think that this one comes close. He doesn't get enough into the mindset that some of the other books do. His principles are more advanced, and that's why it's one of the 52 weeks instead of the foundational 5. But this book changed my life as I read it, and that's why we wanted to share it today. Mike Shine, our holistic attorney, what would you say is the most important lesson when it comes to start your business, to sell your business, and get rich?
Hey, I'm joking around, but I think Mitch Jaworski stole my thunder. He basically, if you didn't hear what he said, go back on the recording and listen to it, because you do not want to jump into a job and that's just a job. And I really feel that one of the greatest benefits about me hanging around with Walter for the last year or so is that mental focus. I don't go into my office thinking about it as a job. I think of it as my business. My closing business is a business that I could someday sell or delegate to somebody else. And we actually, Walter and I, he coaches me on this stuff to get towards that end. And I see it's not, I love my job, so it's not a light at the end of the tunnel, but it is a way to get that financial freedom that I want and also do all the other stuff with my family I want. So that's the biggest takeaway I have. It's a business that you can sell, not a job that you're stuck in until you're 70 and then you die 6 years later. So that's it.
Give Mike Shine a round of applause. Mike Shine is our holistic attorney. He does all of our closings. I trust him with my business, with our LLCs, with everything that we do. And he also likes to buy sushi. And so whenever we have a conversation, I know I'm either eating like phenomenal healthy food. It's always a vegan menu. And then the conversations about, building entities and what we should do. Mike, I may coach you in some aspects, but you coach me in some of the biggest levers that we're moving in our business. So it's a mutual friendship. I appreciate it.
Want to buy a business?
I'm ready to buy one with you.
Yes.
Terry Wager, I see your hand up, brother.
One of the things that I've been listening to the whole time is this idea of job versus business owner. And really, I think popping out of the matrix, so to speak, is really about, and why we call our company Generator, is it's about generating the income to fuel your life and thinking about money as the gasoline to fuel your life. Exactly. The idea that comes to mind when we're thinking about having a job or being stuck in something is where we're having a problem, and we want to make that shift into how can I generate income. I don't see myself as having a job. I see myself as helping other people generate the life and the business that they want to have, and generate the thinking and generate the movement that they want in their life. And the vehicle is whatever vehicle they have, whether it's a job currently right now, that's the train that they're on their track to make the money they want to, or if it's investing or whatever it is, it's really moving your mind from I have this job to I have a way of creating income or generating income is really what I teach people, because when we can pop our mind out of that box, we start to really, well, one, throw the box away and start to really get creative about how we can do things differently. And there's a number of people in here that do that. And if you're not in the mentorship, if you're not in the group consistently, I would really highly suggest plugging in, getting in here, and getting the resources and the help from the people that are offering it, because that's how we start to really grow.
Awesome. Give Terry a round of applause. I love that everything we do is to move people forward. It's growth. It's how do you get to the next level? Ms. Jaworski, go ahead.
Speaking of moving people forward, I'm actually, I have a help me to help you moment. So there's a good number of people in here that read my weekly real estate investing blog. I'm going to write that as soon as this call's over. So given that is there, whoever's a newbie real estate investor, this is your opportunity to say, hey, can you write about X topic? So if there's anything someone particularly wants to know about, put it in chat, because when this call's done, I'll be writing the weekly post. And as far, instead of me searching for what I want to write about this week, let me just write about what you want to know about. So if anyone's got anything in particular with real estate investing that they'd like to hear about this week, put it in chat, and that will be my post topic for this week on the Scaredy Cat Guide blog.
Love it.
Mike, I do have a crypto section, but I also need to do my real estate investing post. So although I did do a post a long time ago that talked about how blockchain is going to make real estate title 10 times better. And Facebook then banned me and blocked me because that was back when they were blocking crypto.
So it's not always fun and popular.
It wasn't back then. But anyway,
phases.
I digress. If there's anything anyone's struggling with, I can write a post about it. Hopefully it's not too elaborate because I got a slam schedule today.
So give the coaches a round of applause. At this point, coaches, have I missed anybody? Let me run through, see who's on here. Is Ryan McDermott in here? Any of the Carloses? Robert Governor. All right. Very good. Excellent. So the coaches, give the coaches a round of applause. They got great opinions, great piece of information from different backgrounds. I want to open it up to everybody in the mentorship. Questions or ahas, things that you thought were really valuable. For everybody outside of the mentorship, I want to open it to you as well. If you have any questions about the mentorship or the value, feel free to ask. This is your chance.
Hey, Walter, this is Ken. Yeah, that's a powerful lesson today with working on your business and not in your business. My wife and I lived that for last 8 years with her natural healthcare business. And, I've seen the impacts it can have and how it can keep you trapped and also keep you from growing your business and being able to have the freedom of time that you want. I think about it all the time. Every decision I make with my business is so that I don't become trapped. Sorry, that's my 7-year-old.
You can't come untrapped from your children, so. Good point, Ken. Thank you, my friend. Who else? There you go, Eustace Payne.
Yeah, this was very timely. I happen to be reading the E-Myth Revisited.
See, Mike?
Those are the exact points the book was making. So yeah, it's really twisted my thought process to be a little more directed and more focused and stronger. Great point though.
Excellent. Eustace, I'm glad you're moving in the right direction. Give Eustace Payne a round of applause. That is, it really is one of the most valuable lessons. And Mitch alluded to it. Why did I build a real estate company that's focused on my name, on my brand? It's because that is the easiest way to grow and expand a company. Rebranding is very, very simple. Very easy for me to make that Amarillo A become an Alchemist A. It's a step away. It's the simplest thing in the world. We have places called Alchemist University. We have a place called Alchemist Library. There's the Agent Alchemist, Real Estate Alchemist. There's these little hints that there's another brand out there, and everything that's an asset in a company has the Alchemist name on it. But for marketing, it's much easier, and write this down, it's much easier for people to connect with you as the face of your company than it is just the brand. Nike didn't just start out as a swoosh. It started out as a company that was already known for producing great products. It started out with buyers face-to-face selling to their, it started with suppliers selling to their buyers face-to-face, people they were comfortable with, who eventually picked up a brand and they went to stores that they were comfortable with to buy that brand. So we all look at Nike and say, man, we got to get a swoosh, right? I got to get me an Apple, right? Like, I got to figure that out. That wasn't what made those companies launch. It was the salesperson's face-to-face interactions, the comfort that people have with that salesperson and who they were. That just happened to be a salesperson that sold to big companies. Does that make sense? Excellent. Eventually, you pick up the brand. But if you want to launch your business in the next stratosphere, don't try to create a brand. Brand yourself. You already got the brand, right? Just be your genuine self. I swear sometimes. Is that okay? I was all right with the swearing? I talk about getting rich sometimes. Do you know how many people that turns off? I talk about cigars. You know what the best part about cigars? You can clear a room real quick by lighting a cigar. You do all three, swear, talk about real estate, and light a cigar. Only the cream of the crop stick around. It's all about being yourself. You want to build a strong brand, be yourself, be authentic. I hate that word because it's thrown around so much. I know you've heard it 1,000 times. Be authentic, be authentic. What it means is really just be okay with yourself. 1/3 are going to love you no matter what. 1/3 are going to hate you no matter what. 1/3 don't give a fuck about you no matter what. Your job is just meet more people. Meet more people, collect your 1/3 who want to do what you're doing, who like you for who you are, and don't worry about anybody else. Now, personal development, if you think you're kind of an ass, be a nicer person. If you think that you could use some work, if you think, not somebody else, if you think that you could use some work, do some work, right? It's got to be personal. You've got to feel that you've hurt somebody or offended somebody, and they got to be important to you for you to go and repair that bridge. I think it's very important to always treat everybody you meet with respect. Do no harm. Going as you move through your journey, move with peace. As you go through life, make sure that the people you're touching, you're improving their lives. As you're moving through your business and growing your business, make sure that when people leave an interaction with you, they think, wow, that was good. I'm so thankful for that moment, even if it's a short conversation. Let them leave that conversation feeling that they've improved, that their life is better. Become the advancing man or woman in your community, in your life, in your business, in your relationship, so that when people, no matter how small, right? And Mike Stein knows where I'm going with this, whether it be the sale of a stick of gum into a little child, inspire in that child the thought of increase, the thought of growth, the thought of improvement. It doesn't matter how small it is. And because on big things, it'll just be a habit. It'll just be a part of what you do. And people will trust you. People want to work with you. And at the end of the day, you need people to get rich. There are three, oh man, I'm giving all the bombs today. I don't know. Maybe I should hold back. I've probably overdone it. There are three pieces that you need in any business. It's people, it's skills, and it's money. With two of those, you can run a pretty solid business. You don't need all three, but if you want to run an amazing business, you want to run a multi-million-dollar business, you need all three. You figure out money, you can find the right people. You figure out people, you can find all the money. With the right people, trained with the right skills, you don't need money. You just put in a lot of effort with those people. Does that make sense? In real estate, we say deals, money, labor. Deals, money, labor. Yeah, that's the strategy. Write it down. If you're into real estate like the rest of us, deals, that's the skill. The skill of a real estate investor is finding deals. Money, obviously capital. It's a very capital-intensive business. And labor, that's your skill part. That's, I'm sorry, labor is the skill, money, people. Yeah. So the labor is the people part, the deal is the skill, and the money is the money. It's three. It's just three things. If you don't have a deal, if you don't have a skill, or somebody, one of your people doesn't have a skill, SOL. You're out of luck. The only skill you need to run a business is the skill of knowing what your business does. You got to know how to serve your client. You got to know what your business model is, your structure. If you have that vessel, Gary Vee talks about it. He says, look, I don't care how big your brand is. If you ain't got a vessel to put people in, you can't sell shit. You're not making any money, right? Gary Vee, he's the jab, 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 hook. If you don't have a vessel, you don't have a hook. If you don't have a business, you don't have a plan, a way to collect money from people, you can't. It's impossible. So you've got to have some sort of skill. In real estate, it's the deal. We say you make your money on the purchase, right? Who said that before? You make your money on the purchase. It's the only skill you need as a real estate investor. That's a skill. Buy property well. Now, obviously, you want capital. So having people with capital is important. Obviously, you want to do the job the right way. Having skilled laborers, project managers, contractors, project managers, that's how you get the job done. Deals, money, labor. Simplify it. What are you good at? I guarantee you, whatever you're good at, there's something you're bad at. At every level, man, we're always going back and forth. Oh, we got too many deals. That means we don't have enough labor to handle the deals, or we don't have enough money to handle the deals, right? We get really good at deals, suddenly money and labor become an issue. When you don't have enough deals, that's because money's an issue. You got too much money. Too much money means now you got to go get more deals. Does that make sense? Or another bottleneck is not being able to handle the deals. You got the money, you got the deals, your guys just can't renovate fast enough. You can't get enough of the work done. You have too many projects. At any point in your business, it shifts back and forth. It's too many deals. Now it's too much money. Now it's too much labor. Look, I got too much labor. I got too much money. I got too much labor for the amount of money or for the amount of deals I'm bringing through. Right? I got too many guys. I got too many guys that they're all sitting around not doing anything. Right? Now I got to get more deals. Now I got to go raise more capital. But if you get two of them, you probably figure out the other one. Does that make sense? If you get at least two of those going, the other one will follow. It will trail behind. You find good enough deals, trust me, you'll find the money. And if you find the deals and the money, somebody will show up and renovate. Fair to say? If you just push hard enough, it will trail behind. That's That's a skill in your business. Before we hang up, is there anything else, any questions about this subject, anything that we can do, that we can teach to help you move forward, or ahas? Go ahead, Robert.
I know we did this wealth principle on raising capital, but how do you, as a new business owner, raise capital as far as convincing people to invest in your business, even though you haven't made a profit yet? Do you offer 10% return on investment, which is almost unheard of? You know, at borrowing $150,000, of course, return on investment is $1,500, I believe. My math might be off a little bit, but how do you convince those private lenders or investment or hedge funds to invest in your business?
Very easy. So, Robert, the biggest change I would make is get rid of the word convince. So if you go back and watch any one of my sales pitches on the 100 millionaires on becoming a mentorship member, you'll see that, and I change them all. You'll notice every week it's different because I'm showing different strategies. They go with the principle. Go back and watch a few of those, Rob, and you'll see I'm just educating you on the options. So when I raise capital, all I do is offer options. I find out about you, where you're going, what your life looks like, what your capital position is, and then I find out, does it make sense? You don't want to sell something that doesn't make sense. You don't want to waste your time saying, hey, I get you 12% if you know somebody's in debt, they're not paying their bills, they really don't have any position in making an investment, right? So anybody I've ever borrowed money from on the call here? I know Mike Shine's here, Stephanie's usually here. Okay, so not as many people on the call today, but either way, Mike, how hard was that conversation?
Wasn't hard at all.
What did I say to convince you? I'm sorry, Rob, I'm not making fun. All right, good.
Yeah, nothing. It was just a conversation and a relationship starter. So yeah.
You were in a position where you're looking for a good return, and I mentioned it, and you said, "Oh, I'd like that." Very simple process. Rob, does that make sense? That answer the question?
Makes sense. So basically, I just need to get on the horn.
Yeah, you just want to talk to people, and you've got to believe in your product, right? So I always tell people, I don't want you raising capital if you've never done a deal. I think you should do a deal with your own money. Just do a smaller deal, right? Don't look at big deals if you don't have the money for them. Go do a smaller deal. There's smaller things that you can do in real estate that take $5,000-$10,000. Do an owner-occupied property, right? Go and live in a small condo and flip that condo, right? There's small ways to get into real estate to learn it. And once you've learned it, and you learn, because I don't want you learning on other people's money. For everybody who wants to raise capital, wants to do a deal, no money down, it doesn't make sense unless you've done it before. Do not borrow money unless you've put your own money on the line. If you haven't saved up enough money to do a deal, either think smaller or save up enough money to do a deal, right? Don't borrow money if you can't save your own. Does that make sense? Do not borrow money if you can't save your own. The money that we've borrowed, we have in equity. The money we've borrowed, we have in the bank. And that brings up another question on raising capital. Is it okay if I go into this direction for a few minutes? Valuable to everybody? Okay. There's another reason that when we raise capital, I sit money on the sidelines. I don't use my own money in my own deals because I want to make sure that I could always pull my investors out if I had to. The other reason is I can borrow more money with a confidence if I know I got money sitting in the bank. The reason we use our own money is not just in case a rainy day comes. We use our own money so that we have confidence. We have our money sitting in the bank. We use other people's money so we can leverage and go further, but we use our money for confidence. Trust me, it's easy to pay. We're paying $27,000 a month in mortgages right now. It's very easy to pay our investors knowing we got money in the bank. It would be hard to borrow that money knowing that, oh shit, what do we got to do if somebody doesn't pay? What if a tenant doesn't pay, right? What if the flip doesn't sell fast enough? You've got to have cash reserves. And so as you invest with your own money, and then eventually you'll know you're ready to borrow other people's money when you get cash reserves in the bank. When you got your own money in the bank, then it's time to borrow. But until you figured out how to get a little cash reserve, and it could be, I remember I've been doubling my income for a long time, doubling my net worth for a long time. I remember it was $2,000, not knowing how to double $2,000. Right, and then it was 50, and eventually it was 100. And the next year was a quarter, right? But I remember doubling money. I can go back as far as $2,000. That's as far back as I can remember. Actually, maybe 1,000, but I can go as far back as being like 14 years old, trying to double $2,000. Right? Anybody remember being 14 years old? What your problems were? I was trying to double $2,000. That shit was bothering me, but I did it. I did it. And I remember doubling 4 and 8 and 16 and 32. I was 26 years old when I finally doubled. $32,000. It was 2012. So I don't remember how old I was. 2012. I'm 34 now. Whatever that math is. So 2012, I was 26 years old when I finally doubled 32,000. It took me a little longer than the other dollar amounts. Is that okay? I just didn't know what I was doing. I was getting better at this whole doubling thing. And at 32, I doubled. I sold my first house. It was a move-in flip that I bought with $8,000 4 years earlier. Right? It was a move-in flip. I lived there. I bought it with $8,000 down. 4 years later, look, a deal like this, I would not brag about today. Right? Today, you would not see me brag about this deal. But 4 years later, I sold it, and I had a equity position because I'd saved up $25,000 in the bank. And after a few months of saving, collecting rents, I had $74,000 in the bank account. And it blew my mind that I'd somehow every year figured out a way to do this. Does that make sense? And shortly after, it was 100, then 250, and I kept stacking, and now it's 2.4, and I'm looking at how to get to 5. Doesn't get any easier, I promise. Terry, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things that I've heard a few times throughout the conversation is the word convince. And another idea would be to understand what's going on when we're using that word convince is we're trying to get somebody to change their mind instead of having a conversation with the right people who are already convinced and on board with that. And one of the biggest problems that happens with us as salespeople or as investors looking for money or whatever is we go to the wrong people, that 1/3 that's not going to do it, and we try to get them to do it. And we're in this convince mode instead of finding our people and finding people with the same values as us, the same missions as us, and just inviting them along. And so for me, I don't convince anybody. I help them to see where I'm going, what I'm doing for you, how I'm helping you. And if it's something that you want to do, come on, let's go, inviting you in. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. And it makes it so much better when we're looking at things that way, because I'm just looking for my people and want to help everybody. I want to help everybody, but I'm only looking for the people that want the help that I'm offering. I don't want to spend all of my energy and spend my brain cells trying to convince somebody of something they're not going to do, because it's just a waste of energy. And so when you're thinking about who you're looking for and you're thinking about, I'm going to attempt to get these people to do what I want them to do, if they're not moving, find new people.
Yeah. Give Terry Wager a round of applause. Does that help? The word convince. Rob, you didn't know you were going to get a lesson on convince. Very, very powerful lesson for raising capital, for convincing a woman to marry you, for convincing your kids to go to bed on time, convincing yourself to get your ass out of bed on time. There's so many things that we put the word convince in, when in reality, it's just sufficiently motivate, right? Dangle the carrot. Are you the right person for this? If not, move on. There's somebody else to do this job. There's somebody else who wants what you got. I have a commitment to a good friend of mine. He messaged me yesterday, said that he's in a tough situation in life. He wants to get his finances together. And this is somebody I used to work at when I worked at Walmart. This is going back over 10 years ago, a totally different time in my life. I'm sorry, it was like 12, 14 years ago. And I've still stayed in touch with good people. I don't care where they're at financially. The fact that they're reaching out to me to get themselves to the next level is pretty cool. Is that fair to say that if somebody reached out to you to learn from you to get to the next level, you take that walk, take that call? Like if they ask me for health advice, I'm not giving it. But if they ask for how to get to the next level, how to take care of their kids, their family, I'm gonna go for a little walk now, have a conversation with him, and hopefully, tighten up something in his mind. What I liked about the conversation, he texted me and said, "Look, I know I've got some negative mindset issues, and I want to work on them. And I know you've done a lot of work. You're the most entrepreneurial person I know. I know you're busy. Do you mind if we, just get on a call and have a conversation?" So to me, it was an honor. It's something I'm going to enjoy doing. And so thank you, Dave. I see that you're just as motivated as I am to help people. So thank you, everyone, for the great questions, for being involved, for the work you're doing on yourself to get yourself to the next level, to the millionaires, to the coaches, for the work you're doing with everybody in the community, the time you volunteer. It means a lot to me. I know how much it can take sometimes, how much, maybe you don't want to pick up the phone, or, sometimes I get that way. And every time I pick up the phone, every time I've had a conversation, every time I've texted somebody, man, I feel good about it afterwards. It doesn't take, everybody doesn't have to thank you, right? But every so often I'll get a message on Facebook, or I'll get a text, and somebody will tell me I changed their lives, or, a conversation I had 2 years ago or 3 years ago has had an effect. Good enough, right? Good enough. That's why we do it. So if you're interested in mentorship, waltermorello.com/mentor. If you're interested in taking action on this today, please go do the homework, find out what your business is worth, go do the math, just Google it. There's plenty of brokerage websites online that sell businesses. So they have the calculators right on there for your industry. And if you've never searched this before, it is a whole new wide world. It's the coolest thing. There are people who literally broker businesses, and guess what? No license required. I'm already thinking about my second business, right? Not second, fourth, fifth business. There's a community out there. They do a lot of free teaching, a lot of free education. Just find a company that has a calculator out there for your industry, and you will learn what your business is worth. If you're in the mentorship program or you're in the mastermind, this is homework I want you to actually show to us. Text us, put it in the Alchemist Mentorship Program Facebook group. Let us know what your industry charges, what your industry is worth, what the multiplier is. This way we can all have a conversation and say, okay, this is how you get to the net worth. We got to get you there. Let us help you. If you've got a business that you think is close, let us help you. If we can send some business, I'm all about sending business within the community. I want to make sure everybody's working with each other. If you got a skill set, you talk about. I've got an opportunity in front of me. Bill, you got an opportunity in front of you?
Oh, dude, I didn't know my phone was on. Dude, I'm
Bill
talking
Roberts.
to myself. I'm listening to you while I'm working. And I'm
I
like,
love it, Bill.
I have such an opportunity in front of me with this guy, you, that if I don't take it, I'm a bloody fool. It's amazing, Walter. It's amazing. You and I will be talking real soon, this week.
I love it, brother. I appreciate you, Bill. Give Bill Roberts a round of applause. He is.
That's too funny. I didn't know my phone was on, man.
It must be fate, Bill. It must be fate.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Bill is he's a flipper. He does a lot of flips. He's buying some rental properties. He's a hard money lender. He's actually lent on a couple of our projects, and he's the same way, right? You can ask Bill, why does he lend at 12% and 2 points? Because he trusts us. He knows it's a good opportunity. He evaluates the deal. And Bill will tell you, when, as somebody who lends money, you've got to know the person, you got to see their track record, and you've got to know the deal. If you don't understand the deal, don't lend the money.
Amen.
Excellent.
Amen.
See, Bill, you're on here out of fate, man. Thank you.
That's right, brother. That's right. Thank you.
Of course. I'm looking forward to it. So I've got to keep my commitment with my friend. I'm going to go have a little walk on the battleship and talk about finances and business and life. I hope that we've added value to you today. Next week is Wealth Principle 44. You can look it up at waltermorello.com. Go to the blog and look at all the wealth principles. I know right now they're not in order. Something happened on the website, my fault. And I clicked the template theme, which changed all of the formatting. But if you go and you count, or if you just look for start your business to sell your business, you can just whatever the principle underneath that is. I don't even know it, but I'll find out.
I got it. I got it if you need it.
Ah, Mike, MVP, what is it?
Accept what can't be changed and create an advantage.
And what is the book of the week?
Because Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Excellent. Give Mike Shine a round of applause. Accept what can't be changed. And what was the second phrase, Mike?
And create an advantage.
Create an advantage, not compete. Create an advantage. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your dedication to yourselves. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the coaches. Cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best.
Work with
Have a
the
good rest
best.
of your weekend.
Bye.
Always work with the best.
That's it.
Hell yeah.
Later, guys.
Peace. Peace.
Doug, I love it. Crystal, go make that money, girl. Okay, the story about the boardwalk thing, that's true. I got to help my friend out. Manny, good to see you. Nigel, Mario, Terry, Darina, Mitch. Good seeing you guys. Later, Kim. Later, Crystal.
Later,
Yeah.
guys.
See you.
Later.